Hello, good day, grade 12. So today we would be discussing and solving more problems regarding kinematics, motion of a body along straight line on the x and y axis, as long as two-dimensional motion in the form of projectile motion. Okay, so let us start. Let's start with our first problem. A truck slows down from 40 meters per second to 12 meters per second. During this time, the truck covered a distance of 800 meters. What is the average acceleration of the truck? How long did it take for its speed to decrease from 4 meters to 4 meters per second to 12 meters per second? So we have to take note that we are talking about decrease on speed, okay, at a given range. So first we are going to find acceleration. So before we continue with our solution, let us take down all of our givens. So V naught, so according to this problem, it starts from 40 meters per second and then ends until 12 meters per second. Okay, the distance the truck has traveled is within 800 meters. We are going to find the acceleration as well as the time. Okay, so first one, feel free to pause this video if you want to answer this problem. Okay, so what is the best equation in order for us to find the acceleration based from our given? So this, we could use this equation, vf squared is equals to v naught squared plus 2ad. Okay, so we are given a final velocity of 12 squared is equals to 40 squared plus 2 times the acceleration over the distance of 800. And then we have to, move this value to the side. Negative 40 squared, is equals to 2 times 800 divided by a. So in order for us to simplify the expression, we need to divide both sides by 2 times 800, in order for us to get the acceleration. Okay, so if we're going to input this expression to our calculator, 12 squared minus 40 squared divided by 2 times 800 would be, the acceleration would be equals to negative 0.91 meters per second squared. So why negative? Because we included on the problem that the speed decreases from 40 meters per second to 12 meters per second. That's why we have a deceleration. Meaning negative acceleration. Next, so we can move on to our next unknown. So how long did it take for its speed to decrease from 40 meters per second to 12 meters per second? Since we're going to find how long, so meaning the time is unknown. So given these equations or given this givens, what is the best equation we could use? So we could use this equation. D is equals to 1/2 v naught plus vf multiplied by the time. So in order for us to get the time, so D is equals to 800 is equals to 1/2 v naught is 40 plus 12, which is our final velocity, times the unknown time. So if we're going to divide both sides by 40 plus 12, it is 52 divided by 2. This is 27 divided by 27. So time, let me put it here, time would be equal to 30.77 seconds. So that is how long the car or the truck rather to travel or to slows down from 40 to 12 meters per second within 800 meters. Okay, so next problem. Problem number 2, a van travels at a constant speed of 18 meters per second for 4.3 seconds. It begins to accelerate at a rate of 3.4 meters per second squared for 5.1 seconds and then maintains that speed for another 15 seconds. Finally, it slows down to rest in 14.8 seconds. How far did the van travel during this time? Okay, so we have here three different points of time. Okay, so time 1 is 5.1 seconds. So time 2 is equals to, oh sorry, this should be, time 1 should be 4.3 seconds. Time 2 would be 5.1 seconds, and then time 3 would be 15 seconds. Okay, and the last time point would be 14.8 seconds. So in solving this kind of problem, okay, we have to minimize our options and then focus on each one of each statement at first. Okay, so we have to divide, okay, or we have to focus first on the first statement and then analyze until we reach, or until we find the unknown, which is the total distance the car has traveled during these points of time. Okay, so let's start with the first statement. According to the first statement, a van travels at a constant speed of 18 meters per second for 4.3 seconds. So we have a hint here, constant speed. Okay, so in solving worded problems for kinematics, you have to find keywords or words, hints that could help you fully understand and apply the concept of kinematics. Okay, so on this statement, sabi dito, constant yung speed. So, meaning, kapag constant yung speed, hahanapin natin yung distance. So, we need to find the distance for these specific points. Okay? Okay. And then, the total of the distance of these points, okay, would be the summation of all distances per each point of time. Okay? So, hanapin muna natin yung sa time. Okay? Time 1 and distance 1. Okay? Since constant speed, hinahanap natin yung distance 1. So, pwede natin gamitin yung d is equals to vt. Okay? So, d1 is equals to v1 or velocity dun sa at t1. Okay? Which is 18 meters per second multiply by the time or yung first time point na given tayo, which is 4.3 seconds. Okay, so D1 would be equal to 77.4 meters. Okay, so next we move on to our point or second statement. It begins to accelerate at a rate of 3.4 meters per second squared for 5.1 seconds. Okay, so let's stop at the second point of time. So, sabi dito, it begins to accelerate. So, meaning, yung hindi na constant yung speed mo. So, mag-iiba na yung gagamitin mong equation. Magbe-base na tayo dun sa list of equations natin for constant acceleration. Okay, so how do we find the distance if the acceleration is constant? Okay, so we could use d is equals to v naught t plus 1/2 at squared. Okay, so this is d2. So ang v naught natin would be 18 meters per second pa rin. Okay, so 18 multiplied by the time, which is 5.1 seconds. Okay, plus 1/2, we are given with acceleration of 3.4 and then the time of 5.1 seconds. So if we would be inputting these values or digits in a calculator, we would get distance at time 2 would be 136.017 meters. Okay, so that is for the second statement. Next, and then maintains that speed for another 15 seconds. Okay, so hanap tayo ulit ng keyword. Sabi sa keyword, maintains that speed. Okay, what do we mean by maintains? Meaning, hindi nagbago yung speed niya. Okay, after 5.1 seconds. Okay, so kung ano yung speed niya, okay, at 5.1 seconds, after for another 15 seconds, yun pa rin yung speed niya. Though, okay, hindi na natin pwedeng gamitin si 18. Okay, bakit hindi na natin pwedeng gamitin si 18? Kasi it begins to accelerate. When we have acceleration, the velocity changes within 5.1 seconds. So we have to compute another, okay, or the final velocity after 5.1 seconds. So we could use this equation Vf is equals to V naught plus 80. Okay, so Vf, so ito yung nahanap natin, final velocity with initial velocity of 18 and acceleration of 3.4 after 5.1 seconds. So Vf is equals to 35.34 meters per second. So, yun na yung gagamitin nating speed na na-maintain niya for another 15 seconds. Okay? So, yung D3. D3 maintains that speed. So, constant speed, Vt. Okay? So, ito na yung gagamitin natin. 35.34 multiplied by 15. Okay? So, D3 would be equal to 530.1 meters. Okay, so now we're at our last statements, and finally it slows down to rest for in 4.8 or 14.8 seconds after 15 seconds. So, sabi dito, it slows down to rest, meaning nagbago ulit yung velocity, nagkaroon ng constant acceleration, pero ang final speed mo would be equal to 0. Okay? Kasi slows down to rest. Okay? Which equation are we going to use given the initial speed of 35.34, final speed of 0 meters per second, given the time of 14.8 seconds. So, the best equation in order for us to get D4 is yung 1/2 V naught plus Vf times time. Okay? So, 1/2, ang V naught natin is 35.34 plus 0 multiplied by the time, which is 14.8 seconds. So, D4 is equals to 261.516 meters. So, yan. Meron na tayong apat na distances at a given, or meron na tayong mga instantaneous position, okay, dun sa ating given amount of time. Okay? So, ngayon, hanapin na naman natin yung during this time. Okay? So, how far, gaano kalayo ba yung tinravel ni Van starting from 4.3 seconds until, okay, if we add them up hanggang 14.8 seconds. Okay? So, in order for us to get that, we need to get the sum of all our instantaneous positions, okay, D1 until D4. So, D1 is 77.4 plus D2, which is 136.017 plus 530.1 plus 261.516. Okay, so DT would be equal to approximately 1,005.033 meters. Okay, so that is how we solve this problem. Okay, next problem. Feel free to pause this video if you want to answer this question. Okay, a bus is traveling at a constant speed of 25 meters per second. A car is 60 meters behind the bus and begins to accelerate at 4.2 meters per second squared. Starting from an initial speed of 12 meters per second, how long will it take for the car to catch up to the bus? Okay, so we have to, analyze the situation. Okay, so thinking that this would be our starting point. Okay, from the starting point, 60 meters daw. Okay, ito yung bus natin. Yan. 60 meters daw. Yung layo niya, okay, dun sa ating car. So, kunwari, ito yung car natin. Car. Okay? So, the bus has a velocity of 25 meters per second. Okay? And, begins to accelerate at a rate of 4.2 meters per second squared. Okay? Starting from an initial speed of, initial speed, VO, of 12 meters per second. Okay? How long will it for the car to catch up on the bus? Okay? So, gaano daw katagal, meaning time, ang kailangan ni car, okay, para magpantay na sila. Okay? Magpantay na sila ng posisyon ni boss. Okay? So, kung i-analyze natin, okay, para mas ma-solve natin itong problem na to, okay, yung time nila, at hindi pa natin alam, okay, para ma-compute natin to, may isip natin, pagsabay na sila, catch up the car. So, meaning, pareho na sila ng posisyon. So, nung posisyon ni car is equal sa posisyon ni boss. Okay? So, at time unknown. So, pwede nating i-compute yon using this way. Okay? So, we have to equate, based from the given, the equation for a position of car at the time, kung kailan siya makaka-catch up, as well as the bus, kung kailan niya makakasabay yung car. So, let's start with position ng bus. Okay? So, sabi natin, si boss daw ay nagta-travel with constant speed. So, meaning, okay, constant yung speed niya, pwede natin gamitin yung equation na D is equals to VT. But since moving sila, yung distance natin or yung position is changing over time. So, ang dapat nating mas i-express sa ating calculator is delta T or delta D is equals to VT kasi pabago-bago yung distance niya over a given period of time. So, DF minus D naught is equals to VT. Okay? So, ang hinahanap natin is DF. Diba? Okay? Tapos, ang difference ni car with respect to car, yung boss is 60. So, yun yung D naught natin is equals to V, which is 25, and then yung unknown na time. So, makaka-compute po tayo ng X, yung DF, or yung position ng bus at given time, which is 60 plus 25T. Okay? So, tabi muna natin yan. Set aside muna natin yan. So, second naman, nating i-analyze, ano ba yung posibleng posisyon ni car, okay, same time, with the boss. Okay? So, alam natin na changing or may acceleration yung ating car, which is 4.2 meters per second. So, ang i-consider nating equation is yung delta x is equals to v naught t plus 1 half at squared. Okay? So, delta x is equals to xf minus x naught plus v naught t, equals v naught t plus 1 half at squared. Okay? So, xf, yan. So, yung xf equals din po yan sa x nung car natin. Since wala naman tayong initial position for the car with relation to boss. So, 0 na yung x naught natin. X car is equals to v naught t natin. So, ang initial speed niya daw is 12 plus 1 half. Ang acceleration ay 4.2 t squared. Okay, so ito yung equation natin kay car. Position ng car, 12 plus, i-ano ko na, 1 half, 4.2 is 2.1, t squared. So, according to our analysis kanina, x car is equals to x boss. So, meaning yung value nito, tsaka value nito ay same lang. Okay, so pwede natin siyang i-equate. X car is equals to x ng boss. At, t is equals to unknown. Yan. So, x car is 12t plus 2.1 t squared is equals to 60 plus 25t. So, rearranging this expression para magmukha siyang quadratic, it would become 2.1 t squared minus 13t minus 60 is equals to 0. So, as you can see, hindi po siya perfect square. Okay, itong ating quadratic equation. So, and wala siyang exact root. So, we need to apply quadratic equation. So, according to quadratic equation, t is equals to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, so substitute all of our givens, negative 13 plus or minus square root of b squared, so negative 13 squared minus 4 times 2.1 times negative 60, divided by 2 times 2.1. Okay, so time would be, so dalawang roots natin, so yung unang roots natin would be 9.27 second, the second root would be negative 3.08 seconds. So, since wala naman tayong negative time, so we have to disregard that value. So, ang oras na tinahak, or at this specific point, or at this specific time, the car would be able to catch up to the boss, which is 9.27 seconds. So, also, hindi lang po nalilimit with algebraic function ang ating kinematics. So, we have, since kinematics, is also tells us the differentiate or the change in a value, specifically distance and velocity over a given period of time, we could also use concepts from calculus in finding for the unknowns. For example, we have given time, initial time po natin is 0, velocity which is 10 meters per second. Okay, distance x of 50 meters. And function of acceleration ax with respect to time, which is equals to 20 meters per second squared minus 0.10 meters per second cube t. Okay, find the velocity or find the position, okay, based from this given. Okay, find the equation or expression of x of t, okay, given this problem, okay, or given this values. So how can we do that? So if we're going to find first velocity with respect to time, okay, so vx, okay, t, so we have to use the equation v naught plus at. Am I right? Okay. So, v naught natin is 10 meters per second, and then we have to add and then integrate this function in order for us to get this part. Okay? So, 0 to t, okay, 2.0 should be 2.0 meters per second squared minus 0.10 meters per second cube t with respect to dt. Okay? So, just copy this one. So, yung constant natin. So, plus. So, kapag ganito yung value natin, yan, okay? So, treat this as x. Kunwari, ito yung x mo. Okay? So, paano mo siya i-integrate? So, according to integration function, okay, 0 to x of xn dx. Okay? So, ang value po nito is 1 over n plus 1 x n plus 1. Okay? Sorry. Yan. Okay, since ito, yan, isang x po siya kasi meters per second squared, so acceleration value, okay, walang another exponent, so ititreat mo siya as a single expression or a single function. So, paano mo i-integrate yung x? So, 'di ba? Sabi nga natin dito, xn integration with respect to or from 0 to x is we have to use this one. So, mangyayari diyan, okay? Since 1 yung naan dito, yan, x1 yan. So, 1 over n plus 1. So, 1 plus 1 is 2 multiplied by your algebraic expression or your variable, okay, n plus 1, which is 1 plus 1, which is equals to 2. So, yun yung mangyayari dito. Yan. So, plus 1 half, okay, 2.0 yung value ng variable mo, ms squared t squared. Okay? Sorry. Tama ba? Okay. Sorry. Dapat, this should be t. T lang. Yan. Medyo napadagdag. Kasi, wala ka ditong variable. Okay? So, yan. So, pag constant, ganito yung gagawin mo. And then, okay. This should have 0. So, x0 nga pala to constant. So, may mistake. Okay, so x0, yan, so 1, 2.0 ms squared t. Okay, minus, Yan, so may t ka na dito. 1/2 t squared multiply by your value, 0.10 meters per second cube. Okay? So, V x t is equals to 10 meters per second plus 2.0 meters per second squared t minus 1/2, or sorry, ano na natin, 0.05 multiply na natin meters per second cube, yan, t squared. Okay? So, yun po, if ever given ka ng acceleration, you have to integrate para makuha mo yung velocity function. Okay? So, from velocity function, hahanapin naman natin yung x, okay, of t. So, paano ba natin makukuha yung x of t? So, balik tayo sa equation ng x, which is VOT plus x is equals to VOT plus 1/2 AT squared. Okay? This is for constant acceleration. Okay? So, for constant speed, since constant na yung speed natin dito, hanapin natin yung x of t. So, pwede natin gamitin yung delta x is equals to vt. Okay? So, yung delta x natin, di ba, siya ay xf minus x naught, okay, is equals to v of t. Okay? So, since meron tayong initial position dito na 50 meters, hanapin natin yung final position. Okay? So, lipat lang natin to dito sa kabila. xf, okay, is equals to x naught plus vt. So, yung vt natin, eto na po siya. Okay? Velocity with respect to time. Okay? So, pag nilagay natin yan sa integration expression natin. Okay, sorry. Ay. So, x of t is equals to, okay, so yung x naught natin plus vx of t. Okay, so x naught is 50 plus integration of from 0 to t ng vx of t natin, which is 10 meters per second plus 2.0 meters per second squared multiply by time minus 0.05 meters per second cube multiply by t squared. Okay? So, gamitin ulit po natin itong integration factor natin. Okay? So, x of t is equals to 50 meters plus, so 10 lang siya. So, meaning 10 meters per second multiply by time. Yan. Plus ito, meron na tayong isa. So, plus 1 times 1/2. So, 1.0 meters per second squared. T squared. And then, meron tayong t squared. So, 1/3 po ito. Okay, 1/3 of 0.005 is 0.017. Okay, meters per second cube multiply by t cube. Okay, so that would be our value or our expression of x with a function of t or with respect to t. So next, this is for problem for free fall. So since kung meron tayong motion on horizontal axis, meron din tayong motion for, okay, vertical axis in the form of free fall. So, we have here a problem for free fall. A stone is released from rest on a cliff and that sound it makes when it hits the water is heard for 7 to 15.2 seconds later. If the speed of sound is 343 meters per second, how tall is the cliff related to the ocean? Okay, so let's diagram our situation. So you thinking you are here, and then this is the distance of the cliff. Okay, and then you throw a stone. Okay, so sinipa mo daw yung bato papunta sa cliff, dapat bumaba daw siya. Okay, nung narinig mo daw siya na tumunog dun sa water, ang time daw niya is 17.2 seconds. Okay, so if the speed of sound is 343 meters per second, okay, gaano daw kataas yung ating cliff? Okay, so we could use dito kasi yung time mo, okay, so yung time kasi nung sound mo parang nagre-reverb yan, okay, nagba-bounce back bago po pa siya marinig. For example, kapag naglagay ka or kapag may nalaglag na bagay sa table mo, okay, bago mo pa marinig yung paglaglag na yan, okay, yung speed of sound, okay, yun yung nagba-bounce back sa'yo, okay, so dun mo based dun mo kina-calculate yung, okay, yung time you have heard specific sound. Okay, so meaning, okay, yung time natin dito is parang simula sa cliff papunta sa water, and then sa water papunta sa'yo. Okay, so yung T1 meron tayong dalawang points of time, yung T1 and T2, and if we add them, okay, so ang value is 17.2 meters per second. Okay, so based from this, yan. So, pwede nating ma-conclude na T1 is equals to T2. So, same lang din naman sila. Bounce back lang. So, pagbaba at then pagtaas, which is kalahati ng 17.2, and it is okay, sorry. So, hindi mo pa pala alam. Hindi ka pala pwedeng mag-conclude. Okay? So, calculate muna natin yung distance. Yan. So, V naught T plus 1/2 AT or GT squared. Okay? So, 0 kasi wala kang initial plus 1/2 since pababa po siya, gamitin natin is positive 9.81. Ang T squared natin is yung T1 squared. So, unknown pa siya. So, D is equals to 4.9 T1 squared. So, next po, second, ano na, yung velocity natin with respect dun sa pag-bounce back. Okay? So, yung velocity ng sound. Okay, so D, si constant ang velocity ng sound, is equals to VT. Okay, D2, yung bounce back, 343 times time 2. Okay? So, sabi natin, okay, based from dito, pwede nating ma-conclude na yung time 2, yan, time 2, equate natin, is equals to 17.2 minus T1. Okay, am I right? So, pwede mo siyang i-substitute dito. So, D2, para makuha mo at least yung D2. 343, okay, ang T2 natin, 17.2 minus T1. Okay, so D2 is equals to So, yan. So, since same distance naman yung hanapin natin, gamitin natin tong equation na to. So, equate natin si D1, yan, is equals to D2. So, para mahanap natin si time. Okay? So, 4.9 T1 squared, okay, is equals to 343 times 17.2 minus T1. Okay? So, if we're going to get the roots of this equation, so ang mahahanap po natin is T1, okay, is equal to 14.2849 and another root is negative 84.2849. Yan. Okay, so disregard ulit natin yung negative. Ito lang yung gagamitin natin. So, pwede na natin siyang, yan, so since meron na tayong value ng time, pwede na natin siyang, okay, gamitin dito sa equation na to, either of the two, para makuha yung distance. So, this D is equals to 4.9 times T1 squared, which is 14.2849 squared, and the answer would be approximately 999.8860 meters. Okay, so that is for free fall. Okay, next problem. Okay, so a motorcycle stunt rider or rider rides off the edge of a cliff just at the edge. His velocity is horizontal with magnitude of 9.0 meters per second. Find the motorcycle's position distance from the edge of the cliff and velocity 0.50 seconds after it leaves the edge of the cliff. Okay? So, ang hinahanap natin, so unahin natin, find the so it is for problem for projectile motion. Okay, so yung mga equations for projectile yung gagamitin natin. Okay, position yung unang unknown. So para makuha natin yung position, we have to get v naught x multiplied by the time. So v naught x natin would be 9.0 meters per second. So ang time is 0.5 seconds. So this is 4.5 meters. Okay? So next, what is the distance from the edge of the cliff? So the distance from the edge of the cliff, okay, in order for us to get that, so yung y, we have to use equation 1/2 gt squared. Okay? So 1/2 9.81 multiply by 0.5 squared. So the answer would be 1.2 meters. Okay, next is the velocity after, okay, it leaves the edge of the cliff. Okay, so we have to find the x and y velocity of this unknown. Okay, so the distance from the edge of the cliff, I think we need to find the radius, okay, or the range. So using Pythagorean theorem, x squared plus y squared, okay, so square root ng 4.5 squared plus 1.2 squared. So R is equals to 4.7. Sorry. 4.7 yan, meters. So now, pwede na tayong makapag-compute ng Vx our velocity. So, yung velocity nito sa projectile motion, meron siyang components. So, yung velocity na hahanapin natin, kailangan muna nating hanapin yung Vx and Vy. So, yung Vx natin, na-compute na natin siya, okay, or given siya, it is V naught x, which is 9 meters per second. So, ang Vy natin, okay, is equals to gt, okay, with respect dun sa acceleration due to gravity. So, 9.81. Okay, since pababa na po ito, 0.5, negative yung gagamitin natin, 4.9 meters per second. Okay? So, since meron tayong dalawang given, so kung ipa-plot natin yan, okay, isang nasa horizontal, isang nasa vertical, so using vector, okay, vector algebra, in order for us to get the magnitude of the vector, so we have to get, okay, or we have to use Pythagorean theorem. So, 9 squared plus negative 4.9 squared, okay, so V vector or velocity vector is equals to 10.2 meters per second. Okay, this won't be complete without any direction, so we have to also compute tangent negative 1. Okay, so negative 4.9 absolute value divided by 9, and so angle tangent, okay, negative 1, negative 4.9 divided by 9 would be, okay, 29 degrees. Okay, so kailangan natin angle reference to x-axis, since positive ang x-axis mo, negative ang y-axis mo, so nasa quadrant 4 siya. Okay, so kapag nasa quadrant 4, we have to subtract yung ating, okay, calculated sa 360. So, 360 minus 29. So, angle reference to x-axis would be 331 degrees. Okay, so that is all for this problem. So, and problems related to kinematics, especially on the horizontal axis, vertical axis, and two-dimensional motion, which is in form of project.